Hello, friends. If you want to be a successful HR professional and make it big in life, today you should attend this video because we have very senior HR professional, Mrs. Vaishali Khule. She is going to give us a lot of information about do's and don'ts to become successful in HR. Thank you very much, Mrs. Vaishali, and we are really eager to hear it from you. How you joined HR as a career.
Sure. First of all, thank you, Mr. Dikshit, for inviting me for this discussion. It's my pleasure to be a part of, this forum to talk to people and also guide about what is HR profession. So to begin with my journey, I was also as confused as most of the people. Which career path should I choose, right? So when I was young, there was not much guidance that I had from the people, or generally there was a trend that people used to just choose a commerce field, or science field and arts. But when I did my 10th standard, I was just thinking where my strengths lie. So when I looked at my mark sheet, I saw that it was more towards the languages, and I had to really choose my profession. And I took a tough decision of taking arts, which was not prevalent around 15-20 years ago. Taking arts is, if you don't want to study, you take arts. But
Right.
that's a wrong mindset. So, and that's
Right.
where I took arts. And to talk about my personality, I am a very extrovert person. I like to be with people, and that's where I felt that I should choose a profession which I will be closer to people. And the studies that I did, I have done my graduation in psychology, which is more about being closer to people. And that's where the two things that were in my mind, that I would want to do a profession related to people. It may be in a counseling or maybe in a human resource function. And that's where my journey began in HR.
Wow, that's very interesting. So on that, I would like to know: is studying psychology really important to be a successful HR professional, or one can do any studies?
Psychology, it really gave me an added advantage of studies, but it's not necessary that you have to have a graduation in psychology. Any
Okay,
graduation would do. But I think if you are clear that you would want to get into a career of human resources, there should be a master's degree, according to me. That would really help you to deepen the knowledge of HR and be a subject matter expert.
sure. So suppose if somebody joins HR as a field, what job they will have to do?
So if anybody chooses to be in HR, it's a vast field, just to be very frank. So
Okay,
again, I'll go to the old story, and most of you would have experienced, or you would have your family or friends who are in HR profession. And when you introduce yourself that you are in HR, always there is a reaction, oh, HR, so you'll get me help, you'll help me get a job, right? Or, maybe I have a friend, maybe you can help me finding out a job for
yeah,
this person. So that's the kind of mindset that people have, that HR is the one who will help you get job. So let me explain that a little brief, that generally in HR, it's not about getting job. Definitely, as a
okay,
HR profession, we can help getting job, but HR function as such is very vast. So there are multiple functions. So let's start with the employee life cycle, right? Any company, if you know how the corporates or organizations are, right?
right,
Though I know you are at the juncture of choosing your career, you may not know how corporates work, but just as a company, you might have read or seen there are before getting a job, there is somebody who has to hire you, or get you in that company. So there is recruitment function, right? People really who goes through job site, searches the kind of people they want for the company. So that is recruitment function. Then to do the day to day task, right? Getting a letter, or some people generally ask, I want to know more about the policies in HR, what kind of policies we have. Or maybe there's some letters required for an address proof, or some operational tasks. There is HR operations team that's prevalent in the company. There are senior leadership team who really needs more of guidance in terms of what needs to be done if there are problems with the people, or maybe some related to attrition. Attrition is maybe people leaving the company, is the term that we call as attrition. So there is a lot of companionship or maybe partnership with the leadership team. That's where HR business partner function. And then in a company, to learn, there is learning is always ongoing. So learning and development function is very key. And the most important function, right? Pay, salary, how much salary a individual or a person should get. So compensation and benefits is also one of the functions. So these are the major functions that I'm talking about in HR profession. There may be different functions as well, depending on the company. Maybe if it's a banking industry, they would have their own structure, but similar to what functions I spoke. So there are a lot of functions, but it may be different in different industry. Let's take an example of manufacturing. So manufacturing, generally people would expect, there are unions generally in manufacturing companies. Whereas in IT industries, you'll not see worker unions. So in manufacturing, generally the person who would want to get into that kind of industry, there would be more expertise required on labor laws, compliance, etc. In IT industry, the kind of skill set that would be required, it would be more about getting to know what kind of work these people do, and also guiding them about the challenges, or coping them with what they can do in their day-to-day performance, etc. So these two, I think most likely it's related to people, and it's important that we need to really be connected to people and understand what are their needs.
Amazing. So you're saying that right from recruitment till the entire life cycle of the employee, HR professionals are always involved in their journey. So after recruitment, training, ensuring that they are paid on time and paid well with what they deserve, to overall planning the policies for the organizations. Very, very interesting, and I'm sure students are really making a note of it. But tell me one thing, what should be the educational roadmap that one should take to enter into this domain?
So I think any graduation would do. Graduation is must, because that really helps to have the first hand degree. After that, master's degree is really important, because that gives you more of a domain and the expertise of knowledge that will be required to perform your duties. So a master's degree in human resources is really important. And after that, whatever path you choose, right? If you are very, very good at numbers, maybe you love playing with numbers, and you choose to be in compensation and benefit, because that's more related to numbers, you can do a certification in compensation and benefit also. But once you have really gained that expertise of that function, you can do that certifications as well. That's really helpful. If there is something related to maybe recruitment that you have chosen, you can definitely be an expert in talent acquisition by doing some certifications.
Okay, so apart from degrees and master's program, you also have small courses, function specific, to acquire that knowledge or skill. Very interesting information. But would you like to recommend any particular institute that generally employers or recruiters prefer to recruit people?
Yeah, there are multiple institute and MBA colleges are there, top universities. What I can think of is XLRI. XLRI is Xavier's college on labor relations institute. They offer multiple courses on human resources and various other courses. I think that's one of the reputed institute that I can think of. There is also IIM, which is Indian Institute of Management institute, where you can definitely go for. NMIMS in Mumbai also is a very reputed institute. If you would want to do something in Mumbai, we have TIS, that is Tata Institute of Social Sciences, is also a wonderful institute to be a part of. Definitely, I think these are the institutes which you could explore. There's a lot of information about these institutes on internet as well. You could explore.
Sure. That's a very valuable information. but also it is, many students, they can't make it to the reputed institute. What they should do so that they get recruited by top employers?
Yeah. So degree is important. Masters is also important. As you go in your career journey, right? Every degree is important. As you gain your experience, it's not that some people are really lucky enough that they get jobs directly from the campus into big four, it's Fortune 500 companies or the topmost companies or the MNCs. Not all are fortunate. So definitely what I see as a roadmap for the individual is to start with the opportunity and then get that experience, and definitely through your interview process, the kind of certifications that you acquire, you would definitely get into the kind of dream company or dream job that you aspire. But to tell you frankly, Mr. Dikshit, I never looked at, choosing that I would want to go in this company or that company. Definitely, there are big brand names that we always look forward to get associated with. But if I start with my journey, I looked as what is the opportunity that I have got. I believe that any opportunity that is being offered to you, you should be looking forward to as to what I'm going to get to learn, what kind of job is required to perform those duties, and am I interested in doing that job is really important, right? Some people go for brand names and then they'll end up, choosing that company, and when they start working, and the entire day they are not happy with the responsibilities done, and that is not going to really help you, right? It's important, whichever company you are, working, it should give you satisfaction. That end of the day when you're coming back home, you're happy doing your job. So first is choosing a right profession, and also choosing what kind of job I will be doing, which whether it's giving me happiness to perform my job is really important according to me.
Yeah, that's a very important point that you said. Don't get carried away with the name of the company or the recruiter, but also look at the job profile, whether that interests you, whether you have capability to perform that job and deliver. That will give real sense of satisfaction. From there, let's move on to the international scenario. What is the scope for HR professional to grow up to international level?
Yeah. So there are certifications, to get certified into like SHRM, etc., who would give you added advantage of getting into any assignments or jobs in abroad. There are also institutes or management colleges like the way we have in India. There are many which are present in abroad also. So you can choose to take your higher degree, master's degree from any institute which is in outside India, in or outside India, right? There are virtual institutes also who give virtual courses. That's now due to COVID, anybody can study from anywhere or anybody can work from anywhere.
Yes.
So there are many multiple institutes. You can always have a lot of opportunity to get, if you have that kind of aspiration that you want to move out of India. Definitely you would need to know what kind of laws are prevalent, or what kind of culture is prevalent in abroad, and that's where you could learn those things and then get into it. So definitely opportunities are available abroad, and I think human resource is a function which will never die, right? Because everything can be automated, but the human touch, talking to people, I see that it's really important function for the future as well. Not everything in HR or human resources will get automated, whether in India or outside. Whatever I have learned in my career, I think it's really important function in the organization, whether it's in India or abroad. So if anybody would want to take up some opportunity in abroad, there are a lot of opportunities as well.
In fact, that was the question I wanted to ask you. What is, we hear these things happening in the world: digitization, automation, metaverse. So a lot of things are happening in the world of work. How it is going to impact HR? Of course, you said that automation will not replace HR. We completely agree that. So what part or what portion of this particular domain will still remain and will be everlasting even in the technological advances.
Right. I think COVID has actually changed everybody's mindset, right? We always used to work on a very traditional mindset, but now with COVID, things have changed, and it has really awakened us to look at our jobs very closely, and also with the kind of automation, to your question, how it is going to change. Even if things get automated, like I'll give you an example. There would be earlier, people used to create an offer letter manually, right? Now we have systems where it can be generated automatically, right? And but to give that function, to press that button, there is somebody which will be required. So instead of doing that job by 3 or 4 people, because at a time in some IT companies or any companies, it's not only 1 or 2 people who get hired or recruited, right? It would be maybe in hundreds or 200 people, and generating that offer letter manually used to take time. But with now automation, the job might have replaced from maybe 5 to 1 person, because but it is not extinguished, right? It's there is no that the person has just replaced through automation. The number of people who used to perform the job has reduced, but we still require people. So that was one of the example. Even when we come look at, I talked about offer letters. Even in the companies, when you have certain requests, uh, in my company, for example, if I need a letter for a bank, right, or a home address proof, where generally banks require letters saying that you are staying here, or your company, you're working in this company. Earlier, these letters we used to request to HR that I need this letter. The person used to sit and create that letter manually. It used to take a lot of time, right? It never used to come immediately. But now, in most of the companies, there in the portal or the tool itself, you just have to click on a button. I myself can do that, and I can just print a letter. It's not that because I'm in HR, anybody can do that. And it has reduced the kind of manpower that is required. But on the other side, if there are employee issues, right? Employee issues, if somebody is not happy, maybe with the job or the work that is required, can I go and talk to a chatbot? No, right? You cannot go and speak to a robot. You would need a person to talk. So either the person will go and speak to the manager. If he doesn't have faith in the manager, definitely the person that they look forward to is HR, because HR person is actually trusted, and they have faith in the person, because human resources as is perceived as a neutral function. So still people have trust in HR, and that's where they would go and prefer talking to a person. How can they help, or guide them, coach them? And that's where we would really require people performing this job. So digitization would be there definitely in future, but it would not make this HR profession extinct. It would still be there.
So what sense I am making out of it, and students please make a note, that maybe some part of operations will get digitized, and that will facilitate your work. It will make it faster, it will make it automated, but human skill, human touch will always remain, and that is always required for any organization to be successful if they are dealing with human and robots, parents. So before we conclude, what is the one single message that you would like to give to our students? And
Yeah. So first, I started talking about my career journey, right? So I'll just talk about just more about it, because that will really help you to understand the kind of message that I would want you to pass on. So in my journey, I definitely took psychology, right? And then when I started, because I didn't have any management degree, I got a job in school as a teacher, right? And I was still happy because it was with people, younger people, small
right,
kids, right? And I started my journey being with people, and also worked as a teacher for 5 years. And then I moved to a more elder people. So that's the more experienced people, where I
right,
got opportunity into human resource function, right? So some people generally, comment to me that you have wasted 5 years in your career being a teacher. If you would have started your career 5 years ago, you would have been to much more senior position. But I don't look at it that way. I think the kind of experience I gained by being a teacher was really great. And definitely when I got into HR, that never stopped. That was a waste career that I did. So my message is, any career choices that we make, it is that we may succeed or we may fail, but we should definitely look forward about what kind of learnings I have carried, right? And definitely those 5 years in teaching has helped me a lot in human resources job that I do. And definitely when you get into the career, so it's more about keep learning, because knowledge is not something which can be stopped. It's very vast. And to get succeeded or successful in any career, whichever it is, HR or any career that you choose, important is to keep learning, because industry is changing. The kind of people, talent, we call people is called as talent. The demands of people are changing, the generations are changing. What we call you guys is more of millennial or Gen Z population. The kind of requirement that they have is changing. Today, if I think of a traditional HR who sit and counsel, right, to people, may not be quite interesting for a millennial person, right? They would definitely have a different set of needs. The kind of offices that we used to work in, it's more about, or maybe I can say that my parents, they work in government. They used to work in government industry. It was more about a 9 to 5 job, or a fixed time job. But now, if we see its flexibility, people can work from anywhere, anytime. And the kind of generation that all of you are in, you would prefer, flexibility. The kind of office ambience that you would require would be not like a table chair. You would require a more colorful ambience, having a lot of facilities like gym, etc. So all that has changed, and that will again change, right? It will keep evolving. So my request or my suggestion, advice would be that keep learning, understand what is happening in the market. It's not that I have done my graduation, I have done my MBA, it's end of it. No. Education, learning should never stop. Even if you are at the age of 40 or 50, if you come across something which is really going to help you to gain more knowledge, I think you should go for it. And to the second question that you had is more about for parents. I think it's important for parents to encourage the kids and understanding what they really would want to do. I think the sessions Mr. Kiran Dixit you did, it's more important that it's not that counseling really tells that this is what you need to do. It's about making you understand and aware as to where your strengths lies. Don't focus on strengths and weaknesses, just build on your strengths. So my suggestion, advice to parents is, understand the needs, the hobbies or the liking that the kids may have. It's not necessary that the kids would always be right, but we should be always with them, with the kind of specialists that are available in the market to help them, make their career choices. It may happen that they fail in the career. It may happen that they pick up some career and after 2-3 years they can come back to you saying that I'm not enjoying it. Definitely, if that happens, and I think it's important as parents to support them. It's okay. If you don't enjoy it, let's explore what is that you would want to do, and then support them in whatever they do. I think that's very important.
That's very important message, friends. Learning, keep upgrading. Changes is the only constant thing that's going to happen. So let's be updated and let's upgrade ourselves continuously. And parents, give freedom to your kids. Understand who they are, what are their strengths, what are their abilities, what are their interests, and give them that freedom to choose what they want to do in life. Because at the end of the day, what we want is our children should be happy in life. Okay, with that, thank you very much, ma'am, for your valuable time and sharing a lot of information about HR as a domain. We all are now enlightened about this particular field. Thank you so much, and all the best, students. Stay tuned. We will meet again.
Thank you.